Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Online Microbiology, and in today's topic we are going to learn about cell structure and the cell theory. So first learn about what is meant by cell. So cell is known as a structural and functional unit of living beings. So structural unit means it provides entire structure to the organism, and functional unit means it contains a certain functions which is responsible for the functioning of an organism. So hence it is known as a structural and a functional unit, and these are called the building blocks of a life or living organism. Means if we take a building an example, so building itself is made up of several bricks. In the same way, the human being or any living organism is made up of single unit called a cell, hence it is called as a building blocks of a life. So the cell also contains a fluid component called cytoplasm, and in the cytoplasm it contains proteins, nucleic acids, and certain cell organelles. So based on the cell structure and the cell number, the organisms are classified as unicellular and multicellular organisms. So if single cell is present, it is called as a unicellular, and if multiple cells are present, it is called multicellular organism. So if we take bacteria an example, so entire bacteria contains only single cell, it is a example of unicellular. And if we take human beings, so in human beings, cells combine to form tissues, tissues combine to form organs, and organs combine to form organ system. So human contains different cells, and it is example of multicellular organism. So let us discuss about the discovery. So Robert Hooke in the year 1665 first observed the cell, but it is not a living cell. He observed the non-living cell, and later Anton van Leeuwenhoek, by using his microscope, first observed the living cell, and he named those living cells as animalcules, which are later named as bacteria. And Robert Brown was first to be discovered nucleus. So using the compound microscope, he discovered the nucleus. So this is about the discovery of cell. So let us discuss about the cell theory. Means so Sheldon in the year, so he is an German botanist. So Sheldon is a German botanist. So he first observed that the living organisms contains different cells, and the cells are combined together to form tissues. And later Schwann, who is a German geologist, so he examined animal cells, and he discovered that the animal cells contains plasma membrane, whereas the plant cells contain cell wall. So he later discovered that cell wall is only present in the plants, whereas in animals only plasma membrane is present and the cell wall is absent in the animals. And later, so Sheldon and Schwann together proposed the cell theory later, but they do not explain about the existing of new cells or how new cells are formed. Later, Rudolf Virchow found that cells divide and new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. So these three scientists together postulated the cell theory. So according to the cell theory, all living cells on the earth are composed of cells, and all living cells are arise from the pre-existing cells. So this is about the cell theory. And now let us learn about the types of cells. So based on the cellular structure, the cells are classified into prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. So what is the difference between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells? Means in prokaryotic cells, membrane bounded nucleus is absent. Means if we take this as a nucleus, so in prokaryotic cell, around the nucleus no membrane is present, whereas in eukaryotic cells, membrane bound nucleus is present. And in prokaryotes, cell organelles are absent, and whereas in eukaryotes, cell organelles are present. So ribosomes are present in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So this is about the eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. And the smallest cell is a mycoplasma, and the largest cell is egg of an ostrich, and the longest cell is a nerve cell. And the cells also contains different shapes. They are disc shaped, columnar, cuboidal, and the thread like. So these are the different types of. So now let us discuss about the cell structure. So here I have drawn the diagram of typical plant cell, animal cell and bacterial cell. So here these are the similarities between the plant cell and animal cell, and this is the bacteria. So if we take a plant cell, so this cell organelle is called Golgi apparatus, and this one is called membrane, and these are the peroxisomes, and the inner fluid is called cytoplasm, and these are the ribosomes, and here it contains a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus and rough endoplasmic reticulum. So nucleus, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum and mitochondria. So these are the similarities between plant cell and animal cell. What is the differences means the plant cell contains a cell wall, whereas the cell wall is absent in animal cell, and the plant cells also contain chloroplast, and the plant cells also contain vacuole, and here the animal cells contain a lysosome and centriole, so which are absent in the plant cell. So these are the similarities between the plant cell and animal cells, and these itself present only in plant cell, these itself present in the animal cell. So by understanding this diagram we can understand the differences between plant cell and animal cell. So cell wall, if we take cell wall, it is present in plant cell and absent in animal cell. So chloroplast, it is present in plant cell, absent in animal cell, and vacuole, it is present in plant cell and absent in animal cell. So lysosomes or centrioles are present in a plant animal cell, and those are absent in plant cell. So here these are all similarities between the plant cell and animal cell. By understanding this diagram we can write the differences between the plant cell and animal cell. So plant cell and animal cell are the examples of eukaryotic cells, means these contains this type of cells in a more number. So hence these are the examples of animal eukaryotic cell. And here see, if we can see, this center one is called nucleus, and around the nucleus nuclear membrane is present, hence they are called eukaryotic cells. So if we take bacteria, so this is an example of prokaryotic cell, because the nucleus, so this one is the nucleus of bacteria, and the nucleus do not surrounded by any membrane, so nuclear membrane is absent, or nuclear membrane is absent, or membrane bounded nucleus is absent. So bacteria an example of prokaryotic cell. So if we take this structure, so bacteria contains this outer layer called slimy layer is called glycocalyx, and it contains inner to glycocalyx it contains cell wall, and here it contains cell membrane, and the inner one is cytoplasm, and this one is called this do not contain nuclear membrane, and hence it is called a nucleoid. And here the plasma membrane itself protruded inside to form mesosome, and it contains a plasmid, which is an extra chromosomal circular DNA, means so here the genetic material contains DNA, but in bacteria in addition to this nucleoid some genetic material is present external to the nucleus, hence it is called extra chromosomal circular DNA, and these are the ribosomes. So irrespective of these, the bacteria do not contain cell organelles like Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, peroxisomes. So the function of mitochondria is performed by the mesosome in bacteria. So now let us discuss about the different cell organelles in detail. So first one is cell wall. So in plant cells the cell wall is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. So here the external layer is called cell wall. It is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin in plants, whereas in animal cells do not contain cell wall, and in bacteria the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan and lipopolysaccharide. So this inner layer, this yellow color layer is called glycocalyx. So this glycocalyx is only present in the bacteria. Inner to glycocalyx is the cell membrane. So based on the composition of the cell membrane, the bacteria are classified into gram positive and gram negative. So during the gram staining, if the bacterial cells appear red color, they are called gram negative. If the bacterial cells appear purple or violet color, they are called gram positive. So the function of cell wall is it provides a shape and support to the cell, and it protects the cell from the mechanical damage. Next one is a cell membrane. So the cell membrane separates a cell from the external environment. So the cell membrane, so this layer is called a cell membrane. So this cell membrane protects the entire cell from the external environment, and it is also called as semi-permeable, means it allows only certain substances to enter into the cell or go out of the cell. So hence it is called as semi-permeable. It also contains a plasmodesmata. So here these are called plasmodesmata. So these are useful to connect different cells or the channels between the different cells. Next one is a cytoplasm. So this is the fluid-like substance. So this entire fluid-like substance in the cell or cell is called a cytoplasm. It is the site for chemical reactions, means all the chemical reactions occurring inside the cell occurs in the cytoplasm itself, and the cytoplasm also contains cell organelles. So this is entire space internal to the plasma membrane is called cytoplasm. And the next one is nucleus. So it contains a genetic information, which is nothing but the DNA, and it also contains a nuclear membrane, and inside the nucleus we can see nucleolus. So this one is called a nucleus. Whereas in prokaryotes, a membrane bound nucleus is not present, hence it is called nucleoid. So what is the function means? So if we take phone as an example, the entire data of phone is stored in the memory card. So in the same way, in the living organisms, the entire data about the living organism is stored in the nucleus in the form of genetic material or DNA. So if we transfer the memory card from our phone to new phone, the entire data goes into the new phone. In the same way, if the DNA goes from one plant cell to another plant cell, so based on the genetic information in the DNA, the offsprings are produced in the same way to the parent. So it stores the entire genetic information about the cell. And the next one is a nucleolus. So inside the nucleus we can see the central one, which is a nucleolus. So it is the site of ribosome synthesis. So ribosomal synthesis takes place inside the nucleolus. And the next one is a nuclear membrane. So nuclear membrane protects the nucleus. So the boundary layer around the nucleus is called nuclear membrane, and it is useful for the protection. It acts as a boundary layer between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So this is a nucleus, and this entire one is nuclear cytoplasm. So this nuclear membrane protects the nucleus and acts as a boundary layer between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So this nuclear membrane is present in the plant cell and animal cell, hence they are called eukaryotes. Whereas in a bacterial cell, nuclear membrane is not present, hence they are called as prokaryotes. And the seventh one is a chromosome. It contains genetic information in the form of DNA. So in the cell, inside the cell, the center portion is nucleus. Inside the nucleus we contain chromosomes. So chromosomes contains genetic information in the form of DNA. These are also useful for determining sex of the individual. So example was X chromosome and Y chromosome. If two X chromosomes are present, the gender of the infant is defined as a female, and if X and Y chromosome is present, it is considered as a male. And the next one is the endoplasmic reticulum. So around the nucleus we can see thread-like structures. So these thread-like structures are called endoplasmic reticulum. So if ribosomes are present around the endoplasmic reticulum, it appears rough, hence it is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. So here you can see around the endoplasmic reticulum, these small tiny structures are called ribosomes, and this is an example of rough endoplasmic reticulum. And if ribosomes are absent, it appears smooth, hence it is known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So the function of endoplasmic reticulum is a synthesis of lipids, steroids and proteins. And the next one is Golgi bodies. The Golgi bodies, so this is an example of Golgi bodies. These Golgi bodies contains cis and trans phases, and these are useful for the packaging of materials within the cell. So if the cell needs to transfer proteins from inside of the cell to endoplasmic reticulum, so the Golgi apparatus performs the function of packaging and transportation. And the next one is a mitochondria. So the mitochondria is commonly called as a powerhouse of the cell because it provides ATP, which is an energy currency. So if we take humans as an example, so the currency is called a rupee. So rupees means rupees, by using this energy, by using this currency, we can buy any items we can want. And in the same way, the human beings contains energy in the form of ATP, and this ATP is provided by the mitochondria, hence it is called as a powerhouse of the cell. And the next one is the ribosomes. These are useful for the protein synthesis, and the chloroplasts, these are present only in the plant cells, and these are useful for the performing photosynthesis, and these contain a pigment called chlorophyll. And lysosomes, so these are useful for protection, means whenever bacteria or a foreign material enters the body, these lysosomes get activated and digest those bacteria, and useful for protection. And during starvation conditions, these lysosomes release peptide enzymes that digest the entire cellular components, and so they are called as suicidal bags of a cell. And the next one is vacuole. So vacuoles store food materials. These are only present in plant cells. And the next one is a centriole. So centrioles are useful for the cell division. So if we take here, so this one is a chloroplast. The function of chloroplast is to perform photosynthesis, and they contain pigment called chlorophyll. And the 90% of the cell is occupied by the vacuole. So vacuole is useful for the storage. And here the lysosomes, which are commonly called as suicidal bags of cells, and the centrioles are useful for the division, cell division. So this is about the cell structure and the entire topic of cell structure and cell theory. So if you have any doubts, do comment in the comment box, and if you need explanation and on any topics, please mention in the comment box. And thanks for watching.